In this opportunity session, I want to show you some new features that have recently been released to Google Classroom as they are adding new things and improving their learning platform. So I want to show you first that we used to have a box right up here at the top for an announcement or an assignment, and we could choose between those two options and post it right from the top of our stream. Those two options are still available, but they have moved. So now instead of at the top of our stream, we come down here to this little circle with a plus in the middle of it. Now the color of it will vary depending on the settings for your classroom space. It'll match. So if I just click that plus, you'll see that we have the announcement and the assignment options that we had before, and then we have a couple new things as well. Now the create announcement is exactly like it was before. If I click on that, I can type my announcement, I can attach things, I can post it to multiple classes at once. Once I've got something typed in here, I can choose to save it as a draft or to go ahead and post it live. So that really hasn't changed, it's just changed its location. It's just moved down here to this plus. But there is a change in the assignment option. When I create an assignment now, when I click on due, I can turn off due date and time. That was not an option in the past. So if you have an ongoing project or something that you really don't want to set a due date to, you can uncheck this and it'll just show no due date. By default it's turned on, and then you could go in here and select a due date. You could add a time if you wanted to as well. But that is a new feature to be able to create an assignment without a due date. Again, you can post it to multiple classes at once, and you can save it as a draft or go ahead and assign it live. Okay, so now let's get to some really new stuff. Google Classroom now has the option to create a question. It's kind of like an assignment, only it's intended to be more like a discussion board or discussion thread. So I can come in here and I can create some sort of question like, write a comment on what you read in I'll just put read today. Okay, kind of generic. Please post a comment on a classmate's response as well. Okay, so again, I can turn off the due date and time if I want, or I can set a certain due date and time for that. I can attach things just like before. I can list it to multiple classes at once if I want, and I can save it as a draft or post it live. I'm going to go ahead and ask this question, and when I do that, it gives me a couple more options. So I can let students see and reply to each other's answers. This would be what I would want if I want it to be like a discussion forum for my students to discuss and post their discussion online. I'm going to have to keep that checked because I asked the students to reply to one of their classmates. But if you want it to be more of an individual sort of thing, and you just want it to be a little simplified over the actual assignment option, you could uncheck that, and then they would not be able to see each other's responses or reply to them. You can also give students the option to edit their answers. So if you check that box, they'll get a little edit button that will allow them to go back and revise what they've already posted. So I'm going to check both of those, and I'm going to say ask. So now you can see it shows up like an assignment. I can see who has it done and who does not have it done, and I can post a general comment within this as well. If I come in here and click on the actual title of that assignment, I can see my students listed here under done and not done, and I can see their responses as they come in. Let me go over to the student side. So here's my one student in this class, and I have to update the stream here. So here's the comment, and I can type my answer in here. Okay, let me just post something like that, and I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Once I submitted it as the student, I have a button to go back and edit it if I want to. I also can go see my classmates' answers, and you can see that it's showing me up here that I have completed this assignment. If I click see classmates' answers, then I'll see kind of a threaded discussion stream. So, and underneath each one, it'll give me the option to reply directly to my classmates. So that's that hierarchy, that threaded discussion is something that we didn't really have before in Classroom, and now we do. So that's really great. So this would be a student replying to herself, but if you had multiple responses here, they could go in and post a reply that's nested underneath a student's comment. This little arrow right here will take them back to the assignment screen. So let me, or to the stream, I mean. So let me go back to the teacher side. So now you can see that I have one student who has it done. I can see a reply to a student's comments. I can come in here and give the student a grade, and I can return that grade to the student. I can do that for multiple students all at once. Let me swap back over to the student side. So you can see now it shows that it has been returned, which means it's been graded. In order to see the grade, the student will need to actually click on the title of the assignment, and then right up here it'll show them their score. Okay? All right, one last thing and we'll wrap this session up. If I come back here to my stream on the teacher side, I can reuse a post, and this is great because it allows you to reuse a post from recent post or one from a previous year. So when I click on this, it's going to show all of the classes that I have, including classes that may have been archived. In fact, I think this sample class one right here is actually archived. So if I click on one of these, I can select the class, and then it's going to bring up all the posts that were in that particular class. So I can choose one of those. If there's one that I want to repost again, actually that's a assignment, so I can repost an assignment or an announcement, and then I'm going to reuse it. It'll bring it up for me to be able to edit it if I want, and then I can post it to this class and I can show that again. Okay, one last little feature to show you. Right here in these little three dots next to something, I now have an option to move it to the top. So this is already at the top, but if I come down to one of these older ones, I can click on it and move it to the top, and that's just going to jump it right back to the top. So if there's something that you want to revisit or just bring back to the student's attention, you can do that as well. We also have a class or calendar integration coming to Classroom soon. It's not been released yet, but very soon you will have a calendar within your classroom space where you can post announcements and deadlines and events and things that are going on that will also integrate with your Google Classroom and show up all of your classes into your Google Classroom space or your Google Calendar space as well. Okay, so lots of new things. I've gone a little bit long today, but I hope those were helpful for you as you are continuing to learn everything you can do through Google Classroom.